To London now, people there got more freedom to leave their homes, including to go to work, the first stage of an easing of the 7-week coronavirus lockdown. Now the London transport were busier, too, with the easing of restrictions. We have a report coming in live from Aribel Celestino. Hello, Aribel.
Hi, Alma. Here is an update in the United Kingdom. People living in England got more freedom on Wednesday to leave their homes, including going to work. The first stage of an easing of the 7-week coronavirus lockdown. Prime Minister Boris Johnson says a huge amount of work is being done to prevent overcrowding on public transport. Let's listen in.
I don't want to see crowding on mass transit, public transport in our capital or anywhere else, and we're working very actively with TfL to ensure that what we do is we have more capacity, we discourage people from going to work during the peak, and that the operators, in particular TfL, lay on particularly more tube trains when those are necessary throughout the day, and a huge amount of work is being done. We also want to see proper marshalling at stations to prevent crowding of trains.
The partial lifting of restrictions comes despite the concern that Britain has the second highest death toll from the virus in the world, and confusion about the new rules. More than 36,000 people have died, and there are still high mortality rates in care homes, despite an overall downward trend in cases, deaths, and hospital admissions. Under the new guidelines, which do not apply in Scotland, Wales, or Northern Ireland, Prime Minister Boris Johnson has urged millions unable to work from home to return to their jobs. Transport Minister Grant Shapps says to those returning to their workplace to cycle or walk if possible. But in London, traffic was heavier, and Transport for London said passenger numbers on the Underground were up 8.7%, up on the same time last week. At Canning Town train station in East London, people, some with face coverings but many without, were seen queuing during rush hour. Elsewhere, full double-decker buses were seen plying the streets. Alma?
So how is the partial lifting of the restrictions being received by the citizenry in London?
Well, the government is being criticized for sending mixed messages about opening up, while the daily death toll still hovers around 500. Critics point out that while people are allowed to welcome cleaners and nannies into their homes, family members and loved ones are still banned. Some politicians are accusing Johnson of risking weeks of progress in tackling the virus by reopening too soon. In the meanwhile, unions have warned of a recipe for chaos in the workplace as employers try to accommodate returning workers while complying with social distancing rules. Others have claimed that lower paid, lower skilled workers in sectors such as constructions and manufacturing are being put more at risk, rather than white-collar staff who are being able to stay at home. More mixed signals from the government saying there's no end to lockdown, but asking everyone to go back to work, added John Phillips, Acting General Secretary of the GMB Union. Back to you, Alma.
All right, thank you very much, Aribel, and excited to hear more updates over there in London. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Alma. Reporting from the United Kingdom, I am Aribel Celestino, and we live in interesting times.